Now this is the thing every candidate is going to say. Repeal Obamacare, yes. Repeal Dodd-Frank, yes. Insist on a balanced budget amendment, yes. Curtail government market interference. You'll understand what that is? That's the 2,100 subsidies and 1,000 grants that exist that cost American taxpayers $1.45 trillion a year. The government needs to get out of the business of picking winners and losers. Another thing we have to do is we have to have energy independence in this country, and I think it's possible in 10 years. And I believe in all of the above. That includes nuclear, wind, ethanol, coal, oil, natural gas, or anything else we can burn that'll produce electricity. And with that comes the fact that we must protect agriculture in this country, because we not only feed our nation, we feed the world. We need to protect those markets, and we need to make sure that those markets are not only free, but fair. Any country that decides to put trade embargoes on our goods will have to be dealt with, and the Senate can do that. Protectional conservatism. I spent 25 years in the United States Air Force, and I was on the ground at a couple of very important junctures in that time. The first was the drawdown from Vietnam. We had too many people, the equipment was old, we didn't have any ability to train, we didn't have any money. So what did we do? We got rid of the people, and we started the process of modernizing the force. Had it not been for the vision of some of the great generals that I've served with over these years, we probably wouldn't have the greatest military in the world, and we do. But we did that in the 1980s. We built our capabilities, we modernized, we actually made the forces smaller, but we devoted everything to readiness. We trained our people, and guess what happens when you train your people? Their combat capabilities go up, their safety records improve, the morale is higher, they serve longer, they serve better, they educate themselves, and that is why the United States has a military second to none. We are faced with the same thing today. I remember being in the Pentagon in 1986 when Goldwater-Nichols was passed. Goldwater-Nichols was legislation that again led to another drawdown. We are right now with sequester, we are asked to spend less on defense. But there's a smart way to spend less. Maybe we don't need to buy all the trinkets that we want to buy out there, but I'm telling you one thing that can't be sacrificed, and that's the readiness of our troops. They must be able to train and train to the highest level, train realistically, and we also have to take care of them. We have to preserve them and protect them once they decide to hang up their uniforms, because the veterans of this nation deserve our full attention and credit and cannot ever be looked over for any reason, and that includes their families. We must acknowledge that there are people in the world that do not like us. If they threaten the interest of the United States, they need to be hunted down and gotten rid of. You can call it anything you want, but terror and terrorism, regardless of who protects them, regardless of where they are, deserve our full attention, and we need to go get them. We need to secure our borders, first and foremost. I think one of the things that irritates me about this Gang of Eight bill is the fact that we have people in the establishment, leaders, supposedly leaders, in the House and Senate that want you to look the other way. They want you to take your eye off the fact that we have rule of law in this country. There is nothing more important to the American people than the rule of law. Amen. Why are we asked to look the other way and let people benefit from breaking the law by coming into this country illegally? We cannot have it. We should not have it. And you will have a senator that will stand against it. I want to say something to a lot of my friends out there who worry about our commitments overseas. I've been there. I've done that. I've choked on dust like you can't believe. My father was a veteran, served the 2 wars. I've been in a combat zone for many years. My son, 7 tours of combat in the Middle East. My daughter-in-law, 2. We have a heritage. We have sweat equity here, folks. But I'm telling you right now, I don't want my kids, I don't want your kids, I don't want my grandchildren going off to fight wars to build nations. We should only go off to fight wars if it means the protection and securing of Americans and American interest. Under no circumstances should we deploy forces simply for the notion of trying to divert attention away from something else that might be going on in this country. And I tell you this as a senator, I will take to the floor of the Senate and I will scream to high heaven about leaving Americans behind, because we do not do that. Cultural conservatism. This always makes people uncomfortable. Everybody squirms in their seats. I've had people already tell me, gosh, you got to soft pedal that stuff. Well, you can't talk about that east of I-35. Well, I'm sorry. They don't know what they're in for, do they? Of all the unalienable rights that we are given, written about in the Declaration, the first is life.
That's right.
We must protect life from conception to natural, dignified death. If we cannot reverse Roe Wade, if we can't reverse that, let's take the court at their word. If abortion is a private matter, then it ought to be paid for by private funds. And not a nickel to Planned Parenthood.
Right.
The second unalienable right is liberty. I want to just do something here, if I can find it in my sweaty shirt.